Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aspen. If you've never been here before, you probably haven't because I've never done any type of home series on my channel. And number two, you probably haven't been here in at least 8 months because I have a 9-month-old daughter and have been completely MIA from YouTube. Sorry, but I've been a little busy. So today is very exciting because it's the start of our home series. And this home series is going to be talking all about purchasing your first home during a pandemic, as well as renovating our first home. So we are getting a bit of a fixer-upper, just cosmetically. It's an older house and we are going to be renovating it to cater to design what we want in our first home. So we are first-time home buyers. It's myself, my husband, and our 9-month-old daughter. And I'm going to go over what it was like to purchase our first home during a pandemic, what it was like house hunting during lockdown, as well as what it is going to look like in the next home renovation series, as well as the end of this video, we'll have a bit of our before of the house tour on the house that we're under contract on right now. So if you want to know what it's like to purchase a house during a pandemic, purchase your first home, and see a little bit of our house tour, then keep watching. Okay, so jumping right in, if you guys have followed us before or not, we have actually been trying to purchase a home for about 4 years. I'm a business owner. It's very hard to purchase a house and show income when you're a business owner. So besides the fact we have been seriously looking and pre-approved for purchasing a house the last 5 months. So we've been continuously house hunting and been pre-approved for a house for 5 months now. And today is June 30th. So that means that we were doing all of this during the deep grittiness of lockdown and quarantine. Because it's June 30th, the virus is still around, it's still going, and it's actually starting to peak again. So we have no idea what's gonna happen. But up until now, we actually got pre-approved for our home loan, I want to say 2 weeks before lockdown happened. So we got pre-approved, we started house hunting, we started looking at houses. We actually made an offer on a house that we obviously didn't get, I want to say maybe 2 days before quarantine actually happened. So then when quarantine happened, we were not allowed to view homes. So a lot of people were actually purchasing houses sight unseen at that point in time. Luckily, we did not have to do that. We actually moved into my in-laws' house, which is where we are currently. We moved out of our apartment because our lease was up, and with having our daughter, we just wanted to really lock down. We didn't want to see anybody else, so we came to my in-laws' house and just kind of hunkered down for that time frame. So that made the home buying process a lot more difficult because we were not able to just go out to open houses. We were able to go view every house that we wanted to. And when the restrictions lifted for home showings, I would say it was about the end of April. So end of April, starting in May. So we pretty much had the last month and a half to really actually view homes in person. Obviously we had to wear masks. It was only myself, my husband, our daughter, and our real estate agent. And when we were looking at houses, basically these houses scheduled showings, and if it was a popular house that had just got listed on the market, then we would only have 15 minutes to view the home because they were scheduling appointments 15 minutes back to back. We actually went to several different home showings where the home showing was only 15 minutes long. There was a row of cars lined up outside the house, and usually that house would go under contract within the next day after it was listed. So we are actually in Denver, Colorado, which is a very hot market, even outside of this pandemic. We have been a hot market for at least, I want to say 6 years now, and we have been struggling with a lack of inventory as well as a hot seller's market. So that means if you're a buyer, you're pretty much getting screwed. So during the pandemic, it's even worse because a lot of people were not listing their homes, or a lot of people who did list their homes removed their homes from listing them. And some people are still living in their homes, so they didn't want to subject their houses to showings and many strangers and people who could be sick going through the house. So that was an issue that we were dealing with, is a total lack of of inventory. Even when the market opened back up, it was under the $400,000 price range. It was maybe a handful, like 5 to 10 houses coming up within the full calendar week. So it was really difficult because we were not seeing any houses that we liked. The houses we did kind of like weren't ideal. We would want to change a lot about them, and it was overpriced because there was no houses to really compare it to. Even the houses that we did have for comps were sold before the virus or were sold in, December of last year. So you can't really compare a house that hasn't been sold within the last 30 days. So now June 30th, it's well over a month that the market has been opened again, but there is still a lack of inventory, which is normally what Denver sees anyway, which is why it is such a seller's market, because houses that get put on the market, especially under like $450,000, usually get snatched up within a couple days of it being listed. So now moving on to the house that we're actually under contract on. I would say that we looked at probably 30 houses. I might be over exaggerating, but it was probably 20 to 30 houses. I want to say that we made an offer on 4 different houses. One house we really liked the neighborhood. The house wasn't ideal, but we had a lot of ideas that we could do to the house. And that one we made 3 or 4 different offers on. It came back on the market. We made more offers on it, and they didn't accept any of our offers, and we did lowball them because it needed a lot of work. But that house ended up going. This house ended up coming up, and I got notified from Redfin that this house was listed, and I actually was going to pick up my husband from the airport, and we went straight from the airport to go visit this house. We saw this house, checked all of our boxes, and we were like, okay, we're going to make an offer. So this house was listed for $409,000, so $409,000, and we made an offer for $414,000, but we requested $5,000 in closing cost credit. So if you are purchasing your first home, the biggest thing is going to be speaking to your lender and having very open communication with your lender. My lender is absolutely so happy that we were under contract on a house, because I have annoyed the living crap out of him. I know I have. I texted that guy literally like 5 times a day with houses that I wanted the closing cost on, I wanted the mortgage payment on, I wanted the breakdown of every single number that we were going to be paying on that house. So when you were talking to a lender, I was literally texting with my lender. I had his personal cell phone number. He was incredible. If you are in Colorado, it's Universal Lending, and his name is Josh Williams. He is a saint. I don't recommend texting him every second because I did that, and I don't want to recommend other people to annoy him, but he is incredible, was so attentive, and every single house he would send us a breakdown. So we would send him that exact house, say, this is what we want to offer on. He would come back and say, okay, so this is a breakdown of your mortgage payment, and then this is the breakdown of what the closing costs and down payment are going to look like. We are actually doing a CHFA down payment, which is a government down payment assistance program. So what that does is the CHFA actually pays our 3% down payment. So we don't have to pay anything down going into the house. But when we sell or refinance a house, we have to pay that 3% back plus a 1% fee. So with a $400,000 house, that's a $4,000 fee. The 3% down, I believe, is around $12,000. So if you are considering putting that 3% down or more yourself, if you're looking at a $400,000 house, you're going to be paying around $12,000 for your down payment, and then $8,000 for closing costs. That is what ours looked at. So basically look at about $20,000 for closing costs and down payment. But if you're lucky enough to find a house that needs a little bit of work or that has a very flexible seller like we did, you can request a credit in your closing costs. So basically, with the $5,000 being covered by them for our closing costs, we're only going to be paying like $1,700 getting into this house, which is crazy. Also, like I said, we're not paying our down payment. So we are going to be paying that back when we sell or refinance the house. So basically it's you pay nothing now to pay more down the road. So we've decided to go with that option because we want more money now to make those renovations on the house and add more equity into the house right now. We viewed this house the first day that they were accepting showings. There were, I want to say 5 showings that day, including us. They got 3 offers, 2 others outside of ours. One offer was for exact listing price, which was $409,000. They got another that was $414,000, the same as ours, but they were not requesting $5,000 in closing cost. But the main difference was that those people did not have a pre-approval letter and they did not have a reliable lender. Our lender had actually worked with our selling agent before. So what happens is if you have a reliable lender, you already have a pre-approval letter, they will call your selling agent that you're making the offer to and say, these people are pre-approved, here's their pre-approval letter, how much they're pre-approved for, and they're good to go. So that way it gives you a leg up on the competition if you're going against other bids. So what ended up happening is even though our offer was technically less than that $414,000 offer, they did not have a pre-approval letter or a reliable lender that selling agent had worked with before, so they ended up going with ours. So definitely find a reliable lender in your city, in your town, and definitely get pre-approved before you make offers. Getting that pre-approval letter really, really helps you be one of the top contenders when you are making an offer to a selling agent. So after they accept your offer, then you are officially under contract. Under contract it's basically the time from when they accept your offer to when you close. So there are a lot of things that happen when you are under contract. For us in particular, we first set up our inspection. So normally you have a 30-day close date if you are doing any type of government or loan program, unless you're paying cash. You usually have a 30-day closing time period. That gives you the time to have that first week to schedule your inspection. That second or third week, you end up scheduling your appraisal. And then everything in the meantime is honestly negotiations. So the negotiations do not stop when you put in your offer. Our negotiations continued until literally a couple days ago. So when you first have your inspection, the inspector is going to give you a report that next day that basically says everything that is wrong or could be wrong with the house. After you get that inspection report, you then have a objection deadline. So the objection deadline is going to basically be what you as a buyer are requesting off or requesting to be repaired after getting the inspection report. So our inspection report had a couple things. Number one was foundation. So foundation is obviously going to be health and safety. You want to make sure that your house has a solid foundation. The foundation had some visible cracks. There is an unfinished basement, so we were able to see the visible cracks. And then there was a sloping on the kitchen floor, which we didn't even notice until the inspector came and looked at it. So the inspection does come out of pocket for you as the buyer. It is not covered in your closing costs. You are going to pay that on top of your closing costs. So definitely make sure you find out what your local inspection cost is going to be and add that to your budget. We ended up adding some type of a sewer inspection in ours as well, so it ended up being $520 for our inspection cost. So that's right off the bat, you have to pay that regardless of if you continue to buy that house or not. There was a few concerns from the inspection report for foundation. There was also a leak coming from the master bathroom shower that was leaking onto the insulation in the crawl space. There was also a part of the roof that had hail damage, as well as the windows. The windows in the house on the main level, so it's a ranch with an unfinished basement, partially finished basement. So the ranch level windows are pretty big. Some of them had some permanent fogging. Basically, they're double paned windows. Some fog gets in there, and then it makes like a permanent fogged look on the window. So it needs to be replaced, as well as some of the framing of the windows are made of wood and they were rotting a little bit. So those are a couple problems that are going to be costly when you start to get into purchasing the house. Don't be blinded by how much you love a house when this inspection report comes back. Really make sure that your realtor is willing to fight for those issues, because those are going to be costly things that you're responsible for paying for after you're officially the homeowner. So we did request money off of the house or repairs for the windows to be replaced, as well as the siding. And we also needed that leak in the master shower to be replaced, as well as we needed the foundation to be looked at. So we actually requested them to purchase a structural engineer to come in and look at the foundation. They said that they were not willing to pay for the structural engineer, but if we paid for the engineer, they would agree upon paying for the repairs of any foundation problems that came up, unless it was over a certain dollar amount. Basically, if it was over like $20,000, then we were gonna have to really renegotiate. So we then had to purchase a structural engineer to come out to the house. The structural engineer was an additional $360, and the structural engineer also does not make the repairs, so he cannot actually give you a price quote on what it is. So the structural engineer came, he gave us some good news. He said that the cracks in the foundation were only cosmetic. Basically, it was from the house expanding and contracting from the moisture in the soil. It causes cracks in the cement. So all that takes is some epoxy filling to fill in those cracks. Then the sloping in the kitchen was actually because there's a steel beam holding up the foundation and a pillar that's holding up the steel beam. Over time, the ground was pushing up the pillar, so it actually created a high point in the kitchen floor, which again is no big deal. They said that we could, if we wanted to lower the beam, you can actually adjust this pillar. So you can kind of lower the pillar over a certain amount of months to just slowly lower it, and then it would be leveled. Or since we are redoing the flooring and our whole kitchen in the house anyway, we're just going to be pouring a cement leveler on that floor and on the subfloor, and it will be totally fine. So those were all good news. But we also needed to have that price point to request the sellers to either pay for the repairs themselves or give us that dollar amount off of the purchase price of the house. So then we actually had to have a contractor come in, because the contractor is who actually gets paid to make those foundation repairs, not the structural engineer. I did not know that. So we then luckily got a free quote from a contractor. He was super nice. We were told by another contractor that it would be an additional $360 to have him come out and give a quote. We were like, no, we just did that. We literally have a structural engineer report for that reason. So we then had that contractor give us a quote. He came back with $4,075. So we then requested the sellers to make those repairs themselves or to take that money off of the purchase price of the house. They came back and said no. So luckily that was not a deal breaker for us, because we do know people in that contracting industry that can make those repairs, and they are also minor repairs anyway. So at the end of the day, we decided that that was not a deal breaker for us if they did not agree to pay for those repairs or take that amount off of the house. They also did make all the other repairs that we requested. They repaired the leak in the master bathroom. They also started to say that their insurance agent would repair the part of the roof that had hail damage on it, which then we found out a couple days ago that the insurance is actually going to replace the entire roof for us, which is great. So we're going into this house with a new roof. We're actually trying to get them to put a black roof on it, because we're going to make the house really modern looking from the outside with white siding and black shutters. So having a black roof rather than the tan roof it currently has right now is going to make a huge difference cosmetically in the exterior. And that was last week. That basically, those were the last objections that we had. Everything we wanted repaired was repaired, except for the foundation. And again, that was not a deal breaker for us. So we are deciding to make those repairs ourselves. So now we are 9 days away from closing. We have everything fully approved with our loan process. The loan process is basically just them getting your bank statements, your pay stubs, getting employment verification from the last 2 years, getting your tax information, all of that fun stuff. So everything for that is officially approved, and we are ready to go for a closing on July 9th. I'm so excited that we're in the home stretch. So now we're basically just waiting for that roof to be repaired. The roof can be repaired even after we close on a house, so we're not super concerned about that as long as it's black, because we want a black roof. So now I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the house tour. We are obviously purchasing an older house. It was built in 1985. It's not super old, like charm and character old, but it has really great bones to make into the house that we want. It's got vaulted ceilings, it has beams, which is something that we really wanted, and we also wanted a ranch style with a basement that was partially unfinished that we could add value and equity into by finishing it. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a house tour, and I will tell you guys as we're walking through the house kind of what we are going to make changes to. This is what you're going to see in the next videos to come as far as our home renovation series goes. So without further ado, here is our new house.
So walking in, you have this beautiful gravel rock that we're getting rid of. Then you're going to see this parquet in our entryway. We're replacing that with herringbone tile. We have an awesome skylight there, which is great, but there's popcorn ceilings everywhere, which are going away. This is our beautiful entryway dining room. You see the living room there with the beams and the vaulted ceilings. This is our kitchen that's going to be completely remodeled, as well as this wall where the island is going to be knocked out. Everything that you see here, the flooring is going to be hardwood flooring. In the hallway here, there are the 3 bedrooms and guest bath. This is going to be our daughter's bathroom, so we're going to completely redo this. We have some Pinterest boards going for that. This is going to be my office and / our guest room. We also have a room in the basement that I'll show you guys, but that will be my office for now. Then we have Edith's room, which is obviously right next to us. So she will have a very nice spacious room and her own closet. All of these rooms have really great natural light, which is awesome. This is our linen closet here, and then the master bedroom. Master bedroom is also vaulted, which is amazing. We're going to change this light fixture, remove that hideous wallpaper. We're painting the whole house a bright white as well, so everything you see on the walls will be a bright white. All hardwoods throughout here. The bathroom has carpet in it. Disgusting. So that's obviously going away. All these doors will be replaced into our walk-in closet. We are changing out the tub and the shower in there as well. So now going down to the unfinished basement. This whole area that you see right here is actually going to be a bedroom because there's an egress window right there. Then it is partially finished, so there is a bathroom, just kind of a basic finished bathroom here. There's also a finished bedroom and a partially finished laundry area down here as well. So basically we're finishing the bedroom and the living room down here, and that is all. So don't forget to follow us at It's Aspen Ray and the Aspen Aesthetic for all home renovation stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.